This is for the undisputed title. It doesn't get any bigger than this.
In the heat of battle, these two guys, if you smell blood, you smell blood. When you go in for the kill, there is a moment where you inevitably become vulnerable. Are you willing to change your strategy to make your final close prematurely? I don't know. And that's why it's going to be a great fight.
We're getting there. We can fight tomorrow, but we still got a little more sharpening to do. Then we're going to be ready. So we taking it how it come, one day at a time. Can't rush greatness.
He's a really good fighter, and this is a challenge for me. Like they say, I have everything to lose here because he's coming to weight classes.
If you win this fight, does it push your...
I'm gonna win.
When you win this fight, does it push your legacy up even further?
Of course, but I'm not thinking about lose. I'm ready. I can feel it. I'm ready right now. If the fight is right now, I'm ready.
Canelo Alvarez has built himself into a global superstar, but a lot of his legacy is going to be tied to what happens on September 13th.
They have enough money. They have enough accolades. They're fighting for legacy.
It is such a boon to boxing when the money guy seeks out the biggest events and the best fighters. And Canelo, that dude ain't scared. He's not scared.
Finally, we're going to see the two best of this era fight each other. This is absolutely the fight of the decade.
The most important part of the fight for Crawford is his camp. He's got to put on 21 pounds, but remain Terence Crawford.
He's actually going to risk everything and move up in weight and fight the bigger, stronger guy. How can you not respect that?
He is willing to take a risk. This is literally uncharted territories for Terence Crawford.
Everything happened for a reason. And I truly or firmly believe the reason for me to be in this situation right now is to become 3-time undisputed champion of the world.
I don't think Canelo's gonna be bigger than he. You'll see, he gonna start pushing his ass around. Watch.
How does Crawford stop? Hard to stop Canelo. And if you can't stop Canelo, how do you get the decision?
He has a toolbox full of tools. And it's just about using the right tool at the right time. People talk about Terence Crawford, they're gonna talk about how I overcame all the odds. I had to go through so much to get to where I am now, and I wasn't wanting any other way. They doubted me. They didn't give me a chance. Thought I was gonna be a statistic. I overcame so many obstacles and so many life lessons that they can't do nothing but respect it.
Those things conspire to make his resume thin compared to other fighters who've attained his kind of lofty status.
You know, and if you look at his career, mention one elite fighter.
Oh, you haven't fought anybody and nobody know who you fought. You know exactly who I fought. You a fighter, you know. So why would you go out there and try to diminish the guys that I fought because you hear the media say that? None of that matters because I'm here now.
Stay locked in, young fella.
Beats the shit out of him. Really? Yeah? Now, I'll tell you like this, man. I mean, the weight division things, you know, but I hope Crawford beats this shit. What Canelo did on that day was disrespectful to boxing. It was just simply disrespectful to boxing.
Raleigh Romero blasted Canelo Alvarez, saying he hopes Terence Crawford gives him a brutal beating. On the other hand, Caleb Plant predicted the fight will be fast-paced and action-packed, unlike Canelo's slower bout with John Ryder. Plant explained that Ryder's cautious, defensive style led to fewer exchanges, but Crawford's speed, volume, and aggression will force Canelo into a very different kind of fight.
Be a good fight. Yeah, I think it's going to be an exciting fight. I think there's going to definitely be some back and forth and a lot more punches thrown than the Skull fight. I kind of honestly was expecting that with the Skull fight. Yeah. I heard Canelo say in an interview before he don't like to fight certain fighters because you heard him say that.
Yeah, he doesn't like fighting fighters like Skull because they don't throw punches. That's all they do, yeah.
And knowing how Skull fights and being a Cuban and I feel like I had seen that coming from a mile away. I didn't really expect it to be I thought he was either going to wind up catching him and stopping him, or it's going to wind up being how it went. So, but that's a stylistic matchup, and it's going to be a completely different stylistic matchup between him and Bud. And I think it's going to make for an exciting.
When asked if Canelo should be favored, Caleb Plant admitted the odds will likely lean toward him since he's the bigger man and Crawford is moving up in weight. Still, he reminded people that betting lines don't decide fights, recalling how he himself once won as an underdog. Plant didn't give a clear prediction, only saying he's excited to watch as a fan and expects a great fight given both men's skills.
Canelo should be the favorite in the fight because he's bigger, or do you see he had trouble with Skull, his speed? Terence is going to throw a lot more, and he has that speed also.
Regardless of however the fight itself plays out, I feel like the betting, the betting people will probably have Canelo as a favorite simply because, Terence is moving up a couple weight classes, and people will say, "Oh, there's weight classes for a reason," and this and that. So it doesn't matter what the betting odds say, though. You know what I'm saying? I've been the underdog a couple times. Jose Uzcategui, I was the underdog. That's how I became world champion. So odds only mean so much. Once the bell rings, the fighters get to figure it out.
Do you think Canelo wins? Or do you think Terence wins? This is my last one.
Can't say. Can't say, don't know. I'm just, as a fan, excited to see the fight. And from the boxing knowledge that I have, which I feel like is decent.
Chris Algieri noted that while Canelo has absorbed heavy shots from big punchers like Sergey Kovalev, speed is a different kind of threat. He explained that fast, unexpected punches from smaller fighters can be just as dangerous, catching opponents off guard. Algieri praised Canelo's chin as one of the best in boxing, but said if Crawford can crack it, it would be a huge moment. He called the matchup historic and unusual due to the size gap, but one that fans will be glued to because of its elite level.
Dude, speed's different. Power's power. He fought a guy like Kovalev. He took Kovalev's best punches, big guy. But speed is different, man. And punching power is a weird thing. You can spar with 126 pounders that can knock out a middleweight. And it's not so much that, they have power, sure, and they have power in their weight class, but then you put the speed behind it and you hit you with shots you don't see and you get stunned. The problem is that Canelo's got the best chin I think we have in boxing today. So if he can crack that chin, then whoo boy. But I think either way, it's an historic event, but mostly because it's kind of odd. But listen, we're going to be tuned in. We're going to be on the edge of our seat because it's that kind of matchup. Nothing you can say.
Carmamel Moughton said he hasn't made an official prediction, but is supporting Terence Crawford. He feels Crawford is more versatile, able to box on his toes or fight inside when necessary. While praising Canelo as a great fighter, Moughton described him as more one-dimensional, relying on pressure, head movement, and counterpunching. He believes Crawford's speed could be the difference and might allow him to outbox Canelo, though he stopped short of making a firm pick.
I don't have a pick. I feel like I'm a root for Crawford, and so I just feel like Crawford is more multi-dimensional. He can do more things in the ring. He could get on his toes if he really needs to, and then he can also bang in the pocket, obviously. And I feel like Canelo's a great, but I feel like he's more one-dimensional. He's just gonna put that pressure, slick head movement, try to come with them counters. But I just feel like Crawford gonna have the speed advantage, and he gonna probably just outbox Canelo. But I don't have no pick. Right?
Raleigh Romero said he wants Terence Crawford to beat Canelo badly, repeating it several times to show how strongly he feels. When asked why, he pointed to something Canelo did in a recent fight that he considered very disrespectful to boxing. While he acknowledged the weight class difference, Romero explained his support for Crawford comes from both personal preference and his disappointment in Canelo's actions, which he called disrespectful to the sport.
Canelo. I hope Crawford beats the shit out of him.
Really? Yeah?
Now, I'll tell you like this, the weight division things, but I hope Crawford beats the shit.
Why do you want to see Crawford beat the ish out of Canelo?
I just hope Crawford beats the shit.
Why? Like Canelo, is it because of the last fight? Like you haven't been a fan of Canelo, or like why? Like you like Crawford that much? Took your cup.
What Canelo did on that day was disrespectful to boxing. It was just simply disrespectful to boxing.
In another interview, Rolly Romero said he doesn't believe Canelo versus Crawford is truly a big fight. While he respects Canelo as a great fighter, he argued that a matchup like Canelo versus David Benavidez would be much bigger and more meaningful. Romero questioned the idea of a smaller fighter like Crawford moving up 3 weight classes to face someone much larger, saying size difference alone doesn't make a fight great. He explained that a true big fight comes from either the best fighters in the same weight class or 2 exciting stars who can entertain fans at a high level.
I don't think Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia 2 is a big fight.
I was going to ask you about that. I
don't think that's a big fight. I don't think Canelo Crawford's a big fight.
No?
I think Canelo Benavidez is a big fight.
I think that's huge.
I don't think a dude moving up 3 weight divisions to go fight a dude that's twice his size, I know he looked bigger than him the other day, but I mean, obviously, regardless, I don't think that's how you...
Shakur Stevenson expressed confidence that Terence "Bud" Crawford will beat Canelo Alvarez. He praised Canelo's accomplishments, but insisted Crawford has the complete skill set to win. On the weight difference, Shakur downplayed its impact, saying it's often overstated. He noted that while someone like David Benavidez is truly big, Canelo isn't much taller or significantly larger than Crawford. Shakur added that in a conversation with Boots Ennis, they agreed that if Canelo underestimates Crawford or makes a mistake, Crawford has a real chance to stop him.
I'm gonna cook Canelo. I think he's gonna cook him. I think, Canelo a hell of a fighter, but I think Bud just got all the tools to beat him.
You don't think the weight difference is going to be too big of an advantage?
I think y'all make that something, in certain fights,
Boxing makes it something, not us.
like if this was like a Benavidez, he's actually a lot bigger than Bud, so that would apply. But I feel like with Canelo, he's physically kind of big, but height wise, he's kind of small. So I don't think so now.
For have you got a decision established? Because Bradman and Boozy think that Bud actually might stop him.
Me and Boozy talked about that. That's crazy. Me and him got on the phone and talked about it, but I think that's possible. I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but I think it's a possibility if Canelo gets to acting out of line and not understanding that.
Rolly Romero didn't hold back when asked about Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez. He flat out said, asterisk, anyone who thinks Crawford has a real chance of winning is a complete idiot. Asterisk for Romero, the fight comes down to one thing, size. He argued that weight classes exist for a reason. And while Canelo is not only bigger but also highly skilled, that combination leaves Crawford with no realistic path to victory. In his eyes, this matchup isn't about talent or technique, just physical size. And that's why he believes Crawford has zero chance of winning.
Canelo, we got Terence Crawford. That's going to happen in the fall. It's going to happen here in Sin City, your hometown. How do you feel about that matchup?
Anyone that thinks Crawford has a chance is a complete idiot. They have weight classes for a reason.
Too big? Too skilled?
Way too big, way too skilled. And this isn't a skill matchup. It has nothing to do with skill.
Showbiz the Adult admitted his view on Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford has shifted. After seeing how easily William Skull avoided Canelo's shots, he feels the matchup is more competitive than before. He also pointed to Madrimov's solid showing against Crawford at 154 and how Virgil Ortiz dominated Madrimov, hinting that both Canelo and Crawford may be slowing down. Showbiz noted Crawford won't just run in the fight, and while he's a bit taller than Canelo, the difference isn't huge. He added that fighters Canelo's size usually get knocked out, unless they're someone like Floyd Mayweather. Though he still predicts Canelo by knockout, he admitted he's less confident in that outcome than he once was.
Fight has gotten a little closer because of William Skull, how he moved around and how easy it seemed to get away from Canelo if you wanted to move around. But at the same time, I haven't forgotten how good Madrimov looked against Crawford at 154 and what Ortiz did to Madrimov. I do think Canelo has slipped, but it seems to be obvious to me also that Crawford has slipped. Another thing, Crawford is not going to run. Now, Crawford is a little bit taller than Canelo, but that's not tall enough.
Joe Diaz was blunt in his take, saying Terence Crawford has no real shot at beating Canelo Alvarez. Despite calling Crawford his favorite fighter and the best pound-for-pound boxer, Diaz stressed that jumping from 147 to 168 is too big a leap. He admitted Crawford might look good early, but believes Canelo's size and power will eventually overwhelm him. Diaz pointed out that Canelo has absorbed clean shots from heavy hitters like Gennady Golovkin without much trouble, and warned that if he connects solidly on Crawford, the damage could be severe.
I mean, there is no way that Terence Crawford, being to me my favorite fighter, I mean, the best fighter pound for pound, can be Canelo. I mean, a 147 pounder moving up to 68, I mean, he can only maybe go 2-3 rounds, good 2-3 rounds, and then Canelo hits him and he hurts him. Canelo's being hit by Triple G, the hardest hitter in the division, and never hurt him. But Canelo will hit Crawford.
Listen, I think stylistically, Crawford could stay in there long enough. However, it's just with the weight, and I mean, Canelo, he's gotten better ever since Mayweather, but now he's decreased a little bit. Nevertheless, though, I think that I think Canelo